Okay, Patty Christensen, hand CRPS lady. The next thing that I want to talk about is some of the food things that I've discovered over time. These are going to be slightly out of order because they just, the inspiration hits me. But I am Southern. Southern is my native language, is what I like to tell people. I always tell people I'm multilingual, English, Spanish, Hebrew, and Southern, and they crack up if I'm around another Southern person because it comes right out. But anyway, I'm Southern. So what does that mean? That means I grew up on things like biscuits, right? And, don't get me started on the Waffle House and there's a lot of bread in a Southern diet. And so that's just kind of how I was. And what I noticed, I'm trying to think about when, probably about the time when this weight started creeping up. I judged things based on where I was living at the time, and I was living in this house. So it would have been like maybe 2013, 2014. I noticed that I would cook up, biscuits or whatever, and they would just sit there. And what I would say to my husband, it's kind of a Southern thing to say, but I would say, I've lost my taste for biscuits. And I noticed whenever I ate bread, store-bought bread, that my stomach would hurt. I would have this expansion of the gut area. And so I told him, I said, I've lost my taste for bread, maybe even grains, right? And so I just said, I'll cook it for you, but I don't even want, the biscuit would sit there and it would just sit there because I was not interested. So I noticed that, and so I naturally had been dropping grains from my diet because my body was like, this doesn't work anymore. And I've always wondered why, is it the gluten? Is it the, just the store processedness? Is it something else, right? So I noticed that, that my natural diet would change. Plus, the other thing is I'm old, okay? Postmenopausal grandma, old lady, right? You'll see over time when the gray starts to come, I'm old. And I noticed over time, too, that, when you're young and you're growing, active, whatever you want to call it, those carbs are great because you need that instant energy. But what I noticed is now that I'm old and, things are breaking on me, that I naturally crave more of the fats. So that may have had something to do with it, but in this health journey of mine, I've noticed I don't want to eat bread anymore, or if I do, it's because something's off with my system, and then I regret it, right? I keep experimenting and trying. Well, what if I try gluten-free? What if I try this all natural? It doesn't seem to matter. They all seem to mess me up. So that's it for this video. I'll probably do a few more just talking about what's going on here.